Welcome to our second Masterclass Monday, and today we're going to talk about the squat. So let's review the 6 most important considerations when doing the squat. First one is the foot position. We need to be in the right position to actually do the squat. Second is the body angle. We need to have the right angle for the squat to take place. We also have to hinge correctly, head and chest up. Another important consideration, the tempo at which we do the squat. And lastly, a strong starting position and strong finishing position. First thing is foot position. This is important. Generally, you have coaches describing it as shoulder width, which is not inaccurate, but it is a very individual thing for everybody. So if we start at shoulder width, most important thing is when Kate engages in her squat, she hinges and she goes down into the squat pattern, her hips need to fall inside her knees. That's really what it's about. Some people need to be wider than shoulder width, other people need to be slightly narrower. The key thing is that your hips can actually travel inside your knees. That gives you the room anatomically to get down to the depth we need to get to, which is hips just below knees. Okay, that's the ideal depth. You can see that her hips inside her knees, strong starting position, glutes tight, knees locked, abs tight, everything's nice and tight. Where she's at now, first thing is she does a hinge and she goes down into her squat. Now at the bottom here, you can see her body angle, her chest is up, her head's up, it's an excellent position. She's got to what we would describe as depth with her hips slightly below her knees. She's holding a nice position there and she comes back up again to a strong finishing position. Okay, that's really excellent, Kate. The thing we don't want to do here, and this is a common error I see a lot of time when people are doing squats, is they do a quad dominant squat. So they don't hinge, they go straight down into a squat. So Kate, could you just do that for me? Just don't hinge. So you can see what happens when Kate does that. Her knees go really forward and it's described as a quad dominant squat. It's a nice way of saying you're squatting with a poor pattern. Okay, we don't want to squat quad dominant, and the reason for that is our quadriceps have 4 muscles. In the back of our leg, our hamstring, we have 3. So if we go quad dominant and don't engage the hamstrings, we're robbing ourselves of 3 of the 7 muscles that could be working for us when we're doing our squat. Okay, so by hinging, we get a good engagement of the hamstrings and the quadriceps. The second to last thing I want to touch on here is the tempo. Another common error is people bouncing out of the bottom of the squat. So you'll see that it's a very quick action. This is incorrect. This is showing that you're worried about the load. You don't know if you can do it or not. And so you are using momentum at the bottom of the lift to get the weight back up again. And this is wrong on a number of ways because technique failure is the chance of injury. So what we should be doing at the bottom of the squat is pausing, and this creates tempo. And actually the tempo on the squat should be, we go slow down as we go through extension in the quadriceps, and then when we get to the bottom of the movement, we pause and then we go into contraction in the quadriceps, which drives us back up to our starting position. And you can do different tempos. I typically use the 2-second tempo where we go 2 seconds down, 1 second pause, and 1 second up. 1 second at the top to regroup, 2 seconds back down again, 1 second pause at the bottom, 1 second back up again. Okay, so Kate, if you can demonstrate that for us. 1, 2, pause, drive up. Good. So that's the squat. To fix a bad squat pattern or a squat pattern that's not working for the client, what we can do is we can use a wall squat to demonstrate and ensure that they use the hinge correctly. We can set your client up against the wall, ask them to do their quad dominant squat, and this is what happens. Their knees hit the wall. So this forces them to do a hinge. So now Kate, if you can do the same thing with a hinge. So that's a great little fix that we can use to ensure that your client is hinging properly and is not quad dominant on their squat pattern. That's it for today's Masterclass Monday. For more information, check the links below, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.